Yo guys, what's good? So, I'm trying something new here. I'm currently circulating around ideas of what else I could cover on this channel, especially not gaming related, like music or movies for example. Speaking of which, why not talk about some movies? I need an excuse to watch more TVs and movies. I mean, I am paying $10 for HBO Max, so why not use what I'm paying for? But the thing with movies is that I have to be extremely careful about what I show on screen, not only because movie studios have a tendency of getting a little trigger happy with copyright strikes. They do have all the power in the world apparently, and I do not. But also because I don't know if y'all watch my other gaming videos, or for the sake of relevancy, the video I've done for Final Space, but I like having footage being shown to correlate what I'm talking about with that particular subject. I mean, hell, you see me using this background in my old Avatar stills. On top of feeling very super duper lazy, I also feel like a major copycat right now. I could animate these reviews honestly, but those animation skits are only for my game take episodes, which are my main videos, the bread and butter on this channel, my pride and joy. Despite using cutout animation, it does take a lot of time, and YouTube likes consistency. If I want to gain something from this platform, I have to fall in line. I mean, if you are a first timer here and you want to see what I can really do, then there's my game take episodes. I'll link you to my Cyberpunk game take right at the corner if you want. But anyway, that's enough about sweet old moi. Let's get into a recent movie actually. It's a sequel that I thought was gonna be lost to time itself forever. That movie in particular is Space Jam: A New Legacy. Now one thing I gotta add is that it's been forever since I've watched the original Space Jam with Michael Jordan, and I figured that perhaps I should watch that movie later, after this, well, I wouldn't say review, it's just me rambling about this movie. I can guess movie reviewers would want to watch the original Space Jam and then this movie for the sake of comparison. While this does make sense because it is a sequel, what if my opinion would be any different if I didn't watch the original Space Jam yet? So yeah, I didn't watch the first movie yet before going into this one. Just a heads up. Now on to actually talking about the movie, let's get to it. So the movie stars, you guessed it, LeBron James, who I knew nothing about. I know jack crap about celebrities, and I know jack crap about sports, if you can believe it. So the main synopsis is that LeBron James, LeBron James, and his son Dom get trapped into this Warner Brothers serververse, which consists of every property under Warner Brothers ball and chain, umbrella, because I guess having a multiverse is the talk of the town now. Marvel started the trend, you can blame them. But LeBron gets stranded in the cartoon verse and teams up with, you guessed it, the Looney Tunes, as they form a basketball team to go head-to-head with the main antagonist of the movie, Al G. Rhythm, who just at the end of the day, just wants WB Senpai to notice him. They team up against the final basketball game to save his son and to hightail out of the serververse. The majority of the first act is centered around LeBron, how he became to be, and it's centered around his family. Like, I know LeBron is the main star of the movie and a major superstar in real life as well, but the movie, to me at least, does feel like it's sucking his dick too much, if that makes any sense. Like, okay, I get it, he's very good at basketball, the dude is everywhere, and he has a major fan base, but the movie feels like, I don't know, it had to literally worship the guy to get him into the movie. A lot of references, and a lot I'm sure I didn't understand because I know jack crap about sports. And the whole first act is basically the Church of LeBron. So much dick stroking during the first act of the movie, and no one ever shuts up about him. But then it gets to the second act, and all that wiener sucking goes straight to Warner and all the properties they own. Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, DC, The Matrix, and of course Looney Tunes. Hell, even Rick and Morty. It feels like one big tour around Warner Brothers trophy room. But I do have to say that the second act is where the movie just gets crazy and stupid, but in a really fun way. You see, to me at least, it's the longest act in the movie. Around 95% of the entire act is totally in 2D animation, with the occasional switching to the villain scene and the Bronze family, who are now looking for LeBron and his son. I'm just surprised at how much 2D they put into the film. They even completely cartoonized LeBron, and I'm glad they did. Otherwise, having LeBron himself in the beginning would have looked really weird. There's a lot of bouncing around and a lot of zany moments in the Toon World when LeBron meets Bugs Bunny. Speaking of which, we don't really get a scene or any information about how LeBron actually knows about the Looney Tunes or Bugs Bunny. I'm pretty sure he only knows by that Game Boy game he played in his childhood from the beginning of the movie, as an actual legit Game Boy is shown for a good 2 seconds. Oh good god, does Warner Brothers own Nintendo now? But anyways, the movie takes total advantage of this being set in a 2D world and it upscales it to almost an 11. The animation was a little weird for me. Maybe because I watched this on HBO Max, or maybe it's just an animation method they use, but I've noticed some of the frames just kinda smear with each other, and some of the background pieces don't exactly follow the action and the characters that seamlessly. It's just something I've noticed. Don't get me wrong, all the 2D is great, and especially in this day and age, it's so refreshing to see more 2D animation. And all of the cartoony, zany segments and all the Looney Tunes references, I was having fun. The story may be a bit stupid, but so far, it's the fun kind of stupid. Now, LeBron and Bugs sets off on a journey across the serververse to gather the rest of the Looney Tunes and form a basketball team in a Kingdom Hearts fashion. And some of the animation, while still in 2D, by the way, gets so crazy. They have these properties and has these Looney Tunes characters blend in with that world. You get a DC comic book world, which I love the use of vibrant comic book colors and the halftone shading, and the Matrix world with the bullet dodging, slow motion, and the camera spinning just before a kick in the teeth. The animation feel kinda slow and stiff. Like, you can see everything else moving while Granny just freezes as she lands in that specific shot. But I see it as a sense of style. It looks like as if the Looney Tunes were made in a Matrix movie if it was in the 90s. And now the final act, which is the basketball match that switches back to realism and the cartoon characters are now 3D rendered. I thought this was gonna be such a huge uncanny valley mess, but I say the 3D Looney Tunes look surprisingly well here. They even have a lot of classic Looney Tune shenanigans, which was a lot of fun, which was also fueled with a sense of resolution considering the movie's main theme. Just being yourself. You see Dom, LeBron's son, has these expectations hovering over him. He's expected to put these childish things aside and work hard to be good at basketball. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because I guess LeBron is a professional player. He needs to be a professional player too, I guess. Dude, all you do is jiggle balls around. Your son makes video games. Like literally, he made an actual basketball video game, which the antagonist, Al, uses that against LeBron as Dom is in the opposing team. So if anything, Dom is the more productive one here. He's actually creating something. But you also see this with the Looney Tunes as LeBron tries to train them and play basketball, focusing on fundamentals and too much by the book. And when you see this realization within him and he agrees to let the Looney Tunes do their thing, it gets fun but also sparks a sense of joy, the feel-good type of fun, you know? And yeah, the rapping sequence was kinda cringe, but the original Space Jam did the exact same thing and I don't see y'all batting an eye there. Like, okay, I see a lot of people saying that this movie is either a major cringe fest or just an excuse for Warner Brothers to jangle all the properties on our faces like a set of keys. I see it as a mixture of both, but it has fun with it. I'm certain the movie is self-aware, and even the characters comment on how ridiculous things may seem. It's not a 5-star course meal worth 2 hours devouring, but it knows it. Hell, the story doesn't make a whole lot of sense either. Al's main motive completely flops on his head and now he just wants LeBron to frickin' die because LeBron calls his film a major stink. LeBron's conflict with his son on taking things seriously when his son is the one that's spending his time creating something cool, but the ridiculousness of the story isn't what we come for. We came to look at some bunny Looney Tunes playing basketball with a freaking NBA superstar because for some reason people like the first film, so I guess Warner Brothers looked at the demand and were like, okay, we have no idea why or how people like it, so let's make it as stupid if not more. We did something right, I guess. I think since the people who grew up with the first Space Jam movie are now adults and are more likely to call out cringe just for the sake of God knows what, but you do know that this movie is targeted towards kids, right? It's gonna be cringe, it's gonna be silly, but regardless, it's okay to laugh and chuckle at things, you know? You're not being an intellectual for not laughing or being overcritical. You're just being really boring. But in conclusion, this movie was a lot of fun. It was stupid, yes, and the main theme of the story is kinda backwards, but fun nonetheless. Don't come into this movie thinking it's gonna be the next hot cheese, because it isn't. But if you're looking for something pretty or wacky to look at for the next 2 hours, then I suggest giving this a go. It is self-aware enough to not make it a glorified Warner Brother movie where it makes its own cake and eats it too. It's not painful, it's not even meh either. There is a lot to appreciate in the film, like all of the 2D animation. I'm still surprised there's so much 2D, and I hope they keep going with this outside of Space Jam. There's a lot of unique styles you could do with 2D, and A New Legacy kinda experimented with that with the Warner Brothers worlds. But yeah, in a short summary, Space Jam: A New Legacy is an above average film. It makes up for the stupid story and characters with fun animation and silly Looney Tunes shenanigans. Also because the 3D modeling wasn't as nightmare fueling as I thought it was gonna be. But anywho, that's one dude's thoughts and opinions on Space Jam: A New Legacy. What do y'all think of this video? Hecky, what do you think about Space Jam: A New Legacy? Leave all of your thoughts in the comments below and be sure to like and subscribe if you want to check out all my other crap. Be sure to join the official JorGoGo Discord if you haven't already to become a funky dude, and be sure to check out my social media and merch. All the links will be down below. Anywho, I'm done for the day. Good night, y'all.